Hey, y'all, if you want a personalized shout out, roast, pep talk, or just an inside joke from Sis and Tell, we are now on Cameo.
Birthdays, breakups, besties, bar mitzvahs, we do it all.
So go find us on Cameo by searching Sis and Tell. All right, now back to the show.
Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
So something exciting kind of happened, and I'm waiting for the result. And there hasn't been one yet, but I want to tell you that our assistant principal sent out a mass email to the entire junior class and half the senior class and forgot to put our emails in BCC. And I have been waiting with abated breath for someone to reply all. So it could be desperate. The real
Sorry, did you just say abated breath?
what? Yeah, what is it? What is it? What is the phrase? What is
Bated breath.
bated
yeah.
breath? What's
I don't think
abated
you want to
mean?
abate.
What does abated mean? What is abated? Is it a word?
Yeah, I think is abate is like something negative. So
Oh,
you know,
shit.
it's
I made a social media post and I said abated.
you
Oh,
did.
yeah. So it's
Well, it
baited,
means
not
like
abated.
I'm looking up. It means to decrease in intensity, amount, or severity. Right? Like a
So it's like the
storm is
opposite.
lessening or pain is subsiding. It's
Abated.
abated.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah.
abated. So
Yeah.
then
If
what's
your
baited?
breath is lessening, if you're if it was
What?
very heavy and it's getting less intense, and it was
Yeah.
a bated breath.
Then what's baited? Now I'm like,
Yeah.
is it what I
Bated
think?
breath means
Yeah.
like you're in a state of like suspense. Like
Yeah.
you just
Okay.
you're in incredible
Yeah.
like you're anticipating it. You're on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Bated
Okay.
breath. Yes.
Oh,
But I
man.
love the new phrase abated.
Abated. I was ready for some like Real Housewives of Decatur stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay, so that is such a rookie move. That
right?
also is in the category of things that are really shouldn't but drive me crazy. It drives me crazy. And there are some people in my world that send out emails still and do
Yeah.
not blind copy. And it's all I can do not to immediately respond and say, for the love of all things CC'd,
But
please
it's
stop doing this.
amazing. I mean, collectively, we did a good job not replying all.
Yeah, good job. Good job.
Good job. Like that's a
Yeah.
lot of people for no one to reply all.
Yes.
Not
yes.
one person. So
Yeah.
good job, parents of the junior
Restraint.
class.
Good
Yeah.
restraint. And now you can contact all of them should you need something.
That's
you know,
right.
for prom
Would you
or
like to
senior
come to my
trip next
comedy
year.
show?
Right.
Yeah.
By the way,
Oh yeah, maybe we can all collectively talk about how much prom fees are. They are insane.
how much?
Junior prom, we're paying $300.
Wow.
And by the way, if you don't want your kid to go to prom, or if your kid doesn't want to go to prom,
Yeah.
it's you're only paying like $50 for whatever junior fees are associated throughout the school year, which don't really
Wow.
include anything.
It's still a lot.
200 and the seniors are paying $100 more. Like that's insane. Like
Yeah.
we don't need like they're not eating whatever food they have at the venue. Like we just do juice and cookies and keep it simple.
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous. You got to take out a loan, and I've got twins.
Yeah.
So collectively,
Take out a loan for prom.
yeah. So if I'm paying, it's over $1,000, well over $1,000 for me to do prom this year and next year.
And
for my
prom is the
kids.
worst night. I hate to say that, but it is the worst night. When Abe had his senior year during COVID, that was traumatic. I know, but at least prom was canceled. So that was a positive because I can't stand prom. All you do is you wait on your couch with, wait for it, bated breath, hoping that your kid makes it to your house or his friend's house or their friend's house or the designated home of
Yeah.
choice after the prom and and then home the next day. It's the worst. It's the worst.
Well, I planned a comedy show the same night as prom this year. So
You'll be
but-
distracted.
yeah, and I'm hosting it, I'm producing it, but it's in Decatur. So I'm like, what's the worst?
Perfect.
You know, I'm down the street. I'll be busy. I'll get my friends to come. So
It's fine.
speaking of prom, I am part of a themed comedy show called Promedy.
I love it.
It's and that it is what you think it's going to be. We get to wear our no,
Or
we
you're
get to
wearing your
wear
prom dresses.
we're wearing our prom dresses,
Oh,
or
I like
whatever
that.
formal wear, like maybe my wedding dress, which I definitely do not fit in this year. I can tell you that much. I'm not fitting in to that. I'm going to need my husband to stand behind me to keep it closed.
You can duct tape it. I've seen people do that.
Duct tape? No, there's
Yeah,
got to be something better.
that won't ruin it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Duct tape.
uh, my friend Terry and I started a fundraiser here called the Mothball. Best name ever. I give credit to my friend Emma Williams because she coined the name. But it started with me wearing my wedding dress on my 15th anniversary, which was a long time ago. And I wore it out to dinner. And then Terry saw me and she was dying and said, I've always wanted to do an event where you get to wear your wedding dress. And I said, okay. And so we met and we started it. And it wasn't just wedding dresses. Now it's any old dress in your closet or vintage. And it's so fun. And we passed over the rights and the logo and everything to a local magazine who took it over, and now there's 1,000 women who go
Wow.
every year, and they
Yeah.
raise a ton of money for local nonprofits in town that support women, which is still that was our main goal, and just to have a fun night out. But so I wore the wedding dress twice, and then found out since then that one of my closest friends here, not only did we get married 3 months apart before we knew each other. Living in Texas at the time, and of course I was here and bought my dress in Atlanta. We have the same wedding dress, the
That's
exact
crazy.
same wedding dress.
Wow.
So our goal is on our 30th anniversaries, which are the same, which are a year from now, a year and a half from now.
Yeah, it's
We're
coming up.
wearing our wedding dresses out with our husbands.
Oh, that's so fun. Do the
Isn't
husbands
that fun?
know?
I don't know if our husbands know, but the funniest is Kathleen, my friend, keeps going, what year is it this year? I'm like,
I know.
29. She goes, okay. I was like, thank God we got married the same year so I can remind you how long you've been married.
I forget how old I am. I'm always like a year off.
Yeah.
I know. But this time I aged myself by a year, and my friends were like, "No, you're not that age yet, Amanda. You haven't turned that age.
You haven't turned that yet.
You haven't turned that." I bet
That's
no one
good.
has,
That's like thinking it's Monday, but it's
right?
Wednesday. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
I bet no one has my wedding dress. I mean, someone has to have my wedding dress.
I love your wedding dress.
Mine
What
was
what
pink.
color do you call it? Pale pink
Pale pink.
or like
Pale pink.
blush? I was saying, is it blush?
Blush. My
Yeah, it was
what is
beautiful.
that from Steel Magnolias? My colors are blush and bashful, or something like that.
Yes. I was speaking of Steel Magnolias. We were at an event this past weekend, and one of the women at our table, we were I don't know how we were talking about hair, and so she says, "Well, you know, where I grew up, we said the higher the hair, the closer you are to God." And I go, "I love that movie." She goes, "I'm sorry." I go, "I love that movie, Steel Magnolias." She says, "I don't know what you're talking about. That's literally what we said in Arkansas." I said, "Oh my gosh, you really did use that phrase." She goes, "Yes, all the time."
Oh,
So
yeah.
love
I'm
that.
sure. We didn't have, I remember going to camp in the 80s, all the way up in Massachusetts in the late 80s, and they had different fashion than we had
Yeah.
in Birmingham. Like they had the claw bangs, right? Is what I call it, where they like
Yes, I
tease
can
up the
picture
bangs,
them.
and they were big, and we didn't do that. I mean, look,
No.
there were like the girls from the mall that would do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
But like where we grew up in Birmingham, no one was spraying their bangs real big. Like we never did. People do that at Indian Springs when you were there,
I
but
mean, people had bangs, but not the big, I love that you say claw bangs or the big teased hair.
yeah,
And of course, my hair was so big, all I wanted to do was flatten it and
right.
beat it into submission.
We were
So,
always trying to flatten out our hair,
yeah,
and yeah, now I want my hair big, but it's still not like mall hair. That's what it was.
mall
It was
hair.
mall
It
hair.
was total mall hair. All right, so I've been thinking about something that actually you planted this seed. I don't know if you remember, but it's this idea of our voices infused in everything we read and see, and it's hard to separate what we think in our head from what somebody's intention. I know this sounds weird. I'm going
I
to
don't
give you an
understand what you're
example.
saying at
Yes,
all.
I'm going to give you
and how I was a part of that.
I
'Cause
know.
don't know
You
what you're
planted the
saying.
seed that makes no sense. Okay. When you get a text message from someone,
Yeah.
and specifically someone you know, don't you automatically hear their voice in the text message and assume a certain tone or
Yes.
attitude? Okay.
Yes, we have talked about how you can easily put emotion into text that is not there. And that's
Yes.
why I like to call people on the phone. If there's anything that can be misconstrued or any contention in the conversation, I think it's important to just hop on the phone immediately so that tension doesn't build, because it's so easy. Whatever you have going on that day, it's not just you but the other person. People put emotion behind text that's often not there, or sometimes it's missing. Like if you're being sarcastic, people don't know there's no sarcasm font.
Yes. Yes. So I agree. But also, I'm not talking about something that is inherently or potentially contentious and could lead to something.
Okay.
I totally agree. I'm just talking about daily interactions that can be misstrued. It reminds me of like the Seinfeld, where who is it? Jerry or George or Elaine or Kramer? I just listed
You're
all four of
naming
them.
the entire cast. One of those
Do I win
episodes.
something? Do I win something?
Yeah.
Where one of them is auditioning for a show or a commercial, and they have to say, "These pretzels are making me thirsty."
Oh yeah.
Remember
Yeah,
that? And
this is
depending on how you say it, it has a different meaning.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, and this is the example that I told you, and you were like, "Well, how do you know he meant it that way?" So I'm texting with Levi, our youngest, who is studying abroad, and we're going to see him soon. And he forgot something at home, and so we had at one point talked about mailing him this thing that he forgot. And then I'm like, "Well, do you still want me to mail it to you? Do you want me to bring it to you when we come visit you? What do you want me to do?" And he wrote back, um, "I'll let you know when I need something." And I read it as, I just said it very plainly, but I read it as, "I'll let you know when I need something."
And you told me this, and I said, I don't know if he meant it that way. I think he meant it as, I'll let you know if I need something.
Right. And I started laughing because, I mean, he's a sweet fellow. And I don't know why I automatically got defensive about him saying, "I'll let you know when I need something," which is a fair thing to say, right?
Right.
I was reminded of this, and it's not like I'm going to call him and say, "How did you mean that?" Right? Okay. It's
Right.
very, and also, I always say, if I had raised men before I actually dated men, my life would have been so much easier because they they
Wait, I need to do
often
a laugh break.
do you get it? Like, I
Yeah.
understand men so much better now because I'm married to one, but also we have 3 boys, and I have seen how their brains work from literally birth to young adulthood. And they are kind, empathetic, deep thinkers, but they're not deep texters, right? Like I always just say, men text and women subtext. So this is so true. And so he literally just said, "I'll let you know when I need something." And here I am still as a grown woman reading into
Yeah.
the very innocuous text of a 21-year-old. All this to say is, so it happened again with Alan, and he was reading me a text from someone, and he's like, "Do you believe that?" And I said, "I don't understand." He goes, "You can hear the tone." I go, "No." And so we kept repeating how the text was. And he's like, I said, "I read it like this." And he goes, "Oh, I totally don't read it like that." And it was so funny. I said, "Well, that's because our own biases come in when we're doing anything, but especially we hear voices." And then I started laughing because I started reading text from mommy, and
Uh-huh.
I can
That's
and I mean, in a beautiful, hilarious way, I can hear her voice, and I read it in every text. It is so funny.
That's
And
funny.
one in particular, I started
Yeah,
laughing because I'm
please.
like, "Oh my gosh, this is okay." So I'm gonna find this one because,
It was funny
okay,
because I said we should read mommy's texts and put different emotion to it.
yeah. So this is one text, and this is also how her brain works, but also I'm gonna say it a la how mommy, I'm sure intended it, because this is how I heard it through the text. Ready?
Mhm.
Um, all in one chunk. "Have you watched Netflix Nobody Wants This? One episode, the location was made to look like Camp Vermont in Ojai, California, even though camp had a different name. Oh, thanks for helping Daddy with our plane tickets. XO." I'm like, all of this came to her at once and she just had to get it out. So in that sense, like I really feel like that her voice comes through on the text, but not always does our voice or intention of our tone come through on text. And I realize that. And that's why, to your point, especially if we're talking about something that could lead to something contentious or misunderstood, just pick up the phone. Just pick up the phone.
Pick up
Yeah.
the phone. People are afraid of the phone. But also, maybe use an emoji, right? Like
No,
if I'm just saying, if Levi had sent you that text with like a kiss blowing emoji, then you would have read it like
true.
differently.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Oh, well, it reminds me of when we were first texting, and I think all of us were guilty of this, and sometimes you would type in all caps, and it wasn't because you were screaming, even though the kids would say, "You were screaming on
Why are
text."
you
It was because the caps
yelling?
was locked, and it was just easier, or you didn't want to figure out what you had to capitalize, but
Okay, I was
I
never
get it.
doing that, by the
You
way,
weren't.
because I'm
No.
a youthful Gen Xer, not
Well, not that I was, but
not an
now I know,
elder
do
Gen
not scream.
Xer.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Are you calling me an elder?
an elder Gen Xer. Yeah.
Fine. Fine.
So this is kind of a serious topic, but also not serious because I come up with scenarios in my head, right? And I love to troubleshoot. You love to troubleshoot because
We're the troubleshooters.
troubleshooters. Oh my God, that was so cheesy. But sometimes the scenarios are insane and will never happen, but I'm always like, what would I do in this situation?
Okay.
So Netflix has a documentary about the Elizabeth Smart story.
Okay.
And one of the things that her family did was the cops did not want to put out the sketch of the intruder that Elizabeth's younger sister described as the guy who
Okay.
came into the house because they were worried of him running off or whatever. And the parents had had enough and they released the sketch. And that's how they
Okay.
were able to find him and then
Okay, can you back up
subsequently
a
her.
second? I
Yes.
know I am very familiar with the Elizabeth Smart case in that when you say it, I go, yes.
Yeah.
But because I have a terrible memory, will you remind me
Okay.
what happened and when this happened?
So this was in the early 2000s. A 14-year-old girl in Utah was kidnapped out of her bed.
Okay.
And this guy
remember that.
came in the house, kidnapped her. It was awful. She was missing for like 9 months. And then and she was very smart. She was really smart about it and she helped get herself found as much as her family helped her because he had run away with her to like San Diego and then he was going to go to another big city on the East Coast and she thought once that happens my family will never find me. And he was nutso, right? So
Where did he keep her?
they lived in a forest for a very long time in Utah, not too
Wow.
far from her hometown. But it
Wow.
was hidden deep in the forest. I don't think the cops did enough, right? So
Yeah.
I said to Aaron, I said, if I get kidnapped, I need you to hire a PI, a private investigator. I need you to do other stuff that the cops are not doing. And he said to me, I will try my best. And I go, what? And he goes, I'll try my best. I go, what? That doesn't sound like your best.
That is not good enough. That is
I
the
go,
most
"That's not good enough."
non-committal.
That
Yeah.
is right. I'll try my best. I'm like, I'm sorry, you gonna be doing other things? You playing pickleball?
Going on Hinge? Right. Enjoying all of those casseroles
what?
that all the ladies in the
No.
neighborhood are going to bring?
Now you're the prime suspect.
Exactly.
Where's your wife, Aaron? I don't know. I'm looking for her. I don't know. Trying my best.
I tried my best, you know.
That being
It's-
said, he
yeah.
can't even find the mustard in the refrigerator. So I cannot rely on him to find me if I go missing, Allison. And this is where you and Ruby come in. I need
Yeah,
you and
I'm
Ruby
on
on
it.
top of this. She's very proactive. She get mad at him. She'd be like, why are you just standing there?
Not only am I really good at this, but I have friends who are really good at this. I have friends we often say you should be a PI because they're so
Right.
good at going down rabbit holes and figuring stuff out. I will get everybody on the case.
It's all the women because besides all the like Dateline NBC episodes we've watched and Law and Order we've binged and murder podcasts we listen to on road trips, like we are very resourceful, right? And I've watched also those I've survived this stories on like the documentary style, the true stories of people surviving crazy situations, and
Yeah.
they're not people who wait for someone to rescue them. They've always rescued themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Always. Every single scenario where someone survived, it's because they didn't just sit there waiting in an ocean. They started swimming. Right? So, anyways, I'll swim, but I'm going to need you to go out into the ocean with the life jacket to try and help find me.
Well, two things I want to say. Number one is I'm reluctant to even bring it up, but it's impossible not to acknowledge what Savannah Guthrie and her family are going through now that you're bringing up the kidnapping and what the police are doing. And
Right.
I'm reluctant, not because I don't want to acknowledge it, but because things change so quickly.
Yeah.
And whenever this airs, I want to be really respectful to her and her family. I am heartsick. I think everyone is.
They must be scared out of their mind.
It's awful. The whole thing is beyond tragic and horrific. And I mean, everybody, and even watching her colleagues on the Today Show every morning talk about it, seeing her plea with her family. I just want to acknowledge that. And I think the world is praying for her and
Yes.
her mom and all of them and hoping for the best possible outcome.
And I bet they're doing other things that the cops are not doing, looking for her, right?
And
Like,
also to be, to your point, very strategic about the way that they go about this, because I mean, the world is as connected as you could ever be, but also you can dupe a lot of people with technology these days, and it's
oh yeah.
you just hope that someone with a heart and a soul is going to do the right thing and bring this to a positive end. But so I want to say that's just. I mean, I think we were both thinking that
Weighing
as you were
heavy.
telling that
Yes,
story.
yes,
It weighs heavy
yeah.
on all of us.
Right, and I use Elizabeth Smart's story because I mean she went through some horrific things, but she is alive. She
Yeah,
is alive,
yeah.
and she does a lot of speaking engagements, and she is incredible. She's incredible. We know the outcome of that, and so that was the only. If it had ended in sadness, I would have not, which it partially was sad, but I would have not brought it up. But yeah, it's
So the second part is when you talked about like swimming and that you will swim or you will do whatever to get away. So there was actually a story yesterday about this kid who was with his family they're Australian, on the coast of Australia. Did you hear about this? And
no,
they
but
were
there's sharks everywhere in Australia.
there are, but they were paddleboarding pretty close to the shore, but something happened where either the tide or the current swept them away. And so picture this, it's a mom with 3 young kids. I want to say like 12, 10 and 8, right? Something like that, 13, 10 and 8. And they got so far out that they couldn't get back. And so one of the boys, I think it was the middle one, said, "I'll go get help," and went I guess there was a kayak and a paddleboard, or maybe they all had paddleboards. And he took the kayak and started to head towards the shore. The kayak ended up taking on water. He had to abandon the kayak. He swam 2.5 miles back
Oh
to
my
shore.
God.
Not only that, once he got there, he had to sprint a mile to go find the nearest phone to go call for help, and just said, "Please send helicopters, boat, anything, my family." And the whole while he's already has survivor guilt because he thinks, "I'm too late." It's because this is like 4 hours later. He said, "It took me too long. All I can think is, oh my gosh, I'm alive and they're going to be dead and I didn't do enough." And they were survived. Sorry.
Ah,
And they were rescued. All 3 of them were rescued, and he is a hero. He's a hero. Isn't that
wow.
unbelievable?
Yeah.
So guess what, Aaron Marks? You need to go. You need to take a cue from this kid's page, because
Oh.
not only did he try to do his best, he did beyond what
Oh, God, this
anyone
is-
could have ever expected of him.
Aaron's gonna be like, "Why are you throwing me under the bus, Allison?" Eventually, Aaron will find the mustard. By the way,
He will. It will come. And by the way, Abe, our 23-year-old, has been swimming as a part of his routine and working out regiment. So I told him the story yesterday, and I go, "Dude, you're going to have to up your game, because if you need to save us one day, I'm relying on you." He's like, "Yeah, no pressure there, Mom. Thanks."
Well, he's the most athletic. I'm thinking like who, like I don't know. Alan hasn't done a triathlon in a really long time. Abe's Abe's our best bet.
Alan's a very strong swimmer, though. I mean, I think Alan could do it. He could totally do it.
I,
I
s- I
can't.
s-
I don't
I
think I
know.
could swim
I
two and
know
a half
how.
miles. Oh my gosh.
Well, I know how to turn my jeans into a life vest. Does
I
that
know
count
how
for
to do
anything?
that.
Thank you, Camper Ma.
Oh my gosh. You know that I did the whole lifeguard training at Camper Ma one summer.
Me too.
But I also made it
And butt.
into the and but I also made it, this is the new improv, but I also made it into the annual summer play. And then I had to choose whether I was going to stick to the play or finish my certification. What do
What?
you think I chose?
The play.
Of course, I chose the play.
Yeah.
And so I got
You
so
couldn't
far
do
as
both?
I
What?
couldn't do both. There wasn't
Huh.
enough time. They interfered with each other. So I knew how to do the jeans, and you jump in, you take them, you make them into a life preserver. I can still picture how to do it. But you know what? I also know how to sing the play Oliver in Hebrew. So there's that.
How's your? I'd like to know how your Cockney accent is while saying. Wait, did you have to like say things in Hebrew with a Cockney accent?
Well, I wasn't Oliver. I was most likely the chorus. I even gave up life-saving techniques for the chorus of
Right.
Oliver in Hebrew. Yeah.
But they're all British. They're all have. They
I
all have.
get it.
Even
I get it.
even the singers. They.
I'm
You
going to
know.
suggest we did not use accents because I can
Yeah.
remember the words. I can't remember singing it with an accent.
I tried out for Oliver at the Birmingham Children's Theater. I didn't get
And
past my cold read. The guy was so mean to me. There was a group of us in this room, and he gave us all the scripts, and this was the first time I really auditioned for something major like that.
yeah,
And I think all these other kids had been performing forever, and they were blonde and adorable, right? And they probably knew enough to get the play before they went into the audition room, so it wasn't actually cold reading.
yeah.
But for me, I'd never done cold reading. I took an acting class leading up to it. I was like 12. They never taught us about cold reading, which to me, acting and auditioning, two separate skills, and they
Yes.
didn't teach us any auditioning skills, right? So I walk in, we're on this room with like 15 kids. He hands us the plays, and then I'm sitting closest to him. So he goes, "You go first." So I started reading it, and then I flubbed, right? And then I said, "Can I start over?" And he goes, "No." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I just kept going. And I didn't get it. But I
Did you
know
use an accent? Were you
yeah.
using an accent?
They
Oh,
did try and teach us how to do Cockney accents in the acting class. So that one
that's
thing,
hard. Yeah.
that's one thing. But I also remember in this acting class, I had a crush on this kid, and I still remember his name. It was David Lee. And I
Okay.
somehow found him in the phone book and managed to call him. There were a lot of David Lees, but this was my like before cyber stalking existed.
Right.
I was white
The phone
pages
book was a
stalking.
great tool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
white page stalked many. Yeah, keep going.
I
So
kn-
you
I
called him,
think
and what happened?
I think I knew he was a junior, so that his dad's name was David Lee, and that he lived in like Leeds or something, Leeds, Alabama.
It's a lot of leads going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I found him, and nothing. I mean, he didn't like me back, but I got him on the phone. I'm just
There's that.
grateful the internet didn't exist back then, because I definitely would have been, speaking of kidnapping, I would have been kidnapped by someone who I thought was 16 who was actually like 55.
And we don't have to go there because I have many a stories of being suckered in even by people just on the phone. So if I had had the internet, I was totally naive and would have fallen for all of it. But
Oh my gosh.
that's a story
Mommy
for another day. Yeah.
Mommy made friends with, I have internet friends, but it's not so far fetched from Mommy making random friends on the phone.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
I remember one time the phone rang during dinner. Mommy was gone for 10 minutes, and then she came back to the table, and we asked who it was, and she said wrong number.
Well, I'm not going to go into it, but I mean, I like talking on the phone so much and love the radio so much that I once went out with one of the local DJs because I called to request a song, and 45 minutes later, we were still talking and in between songs. It
Was
did
this
not work
but
out.
this was not in Birmingham? You
Oh
told me
yeah,
this
I was
story.
home. I was home for one of like the winter breaks, and I was packing to go back to school. And uh, the rest is not such a good story. We went out once. He ended up being very short and much older, and
Ew.
not my type for
Eh,
other reasons because
Short and older.
short,
Ew.
old, but he played. He could spin the tunes. He had a great voice. This is it. You know, when you have a
Yeah.
great voice, you can be duped.
I wonder why he was in radio, Allison. Context clues. Context clues. Well, thanks for listening to the latest Sis and Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.